Hi, welcome back to the Fritzky Show. I appreciate, as ever, your being with. This week, I go off in a different direction because the truth is in life that we are often saved, and saved by everyone from our spouses, parents, siblings, friends, even the stranger, and dare I say, even the occasional angel who just happens to pass on by. Sometimes by circumstance, happenstance, work, happiness, even at other times trauma and disease. I've been saved again and again by Maggie, family, and the strangest arrays of circumstance. I'd like to share just two of my extraordinary having been saved incidents. One was an incidental, the other a mighty essential. Truth is, I did meet an angel one fine day. For once upon a time, when work was all consuming, the command performances of my children remained a must. Noel's solo in the school choir and Maggie's I Better Be There conspired together. I was on it, but still running late that evening. I reluctantly stopped at the Exxon on Route 46 West, just beyond Route 3, in the Totowa Montclair area, to get $10 of gas, back when $10 actually got gas. Getting out of the car, I inadvertently hit the power lock. So there was my little Beretta, still running in a busy bay in a busy station, in the heart of an always busy rush hour, locked tight. I swallowed my stupidity and attacked the problem, but I failed completely. And then all of the attendants at the station try, and they fail completely. And finally, the Clifton police try, and they fail completely. And AAA says an hour and a half. I am toast and I know it. But before I can gather the courage to call home, this guy just suddenly appears out of nowhere. This hippie yippie guy with hair down to his knees and the cut-off jeans with the tattered t-shirt to boot. And there in the background is, yes, the psychedelic Grateful Dead van with the peace signs, flowers, and rainbows all over it. Right out of Central Casting he was. He wore this huge, glowing, ear-to-ear smile, and he was coming right at me as if he already knows. "What's the problem, man?" he asks. I tell him. He collapses down to one knee. He cocks his right arm out into the air. He punches it with unbridled enthusiasm and suddenly yells, "Man, I am good at this." He retreats to his van, strutting back, and I do mean strutting, with a bronze, yard-long, thin instrument, having gathered the attention of everyone there. The Clifton cops, the attendants, and what was by then a veritable crowd of customers. All eyes were on him, but zip zip, in only seconds, the doors opened. He takes one more drop down to his knees, punches that right arm out even further, and belts out another heavenly ascending, "Man, I am good at this." He literally dances back to the van to carefully insert this tool of his peculiar trade back into a leather case. I follow to say thanks and to ask if I can get him anything, but he slowly turns to me and sweetly says, "No, man, I'm late for church," while wearing this enchantingly embracing smile. I turned for just a moment to check my car, which was still in that bay. I looked back towards him, but no, both he and his deadhead van were gone. Poof, right into thin air. Now I can't definitively say that he was an angel, but he sure didn't come for gas or milk, and no one there saw that Grateful Dead van either pull in or pull out. I and all there were eyes popping out of our heads, befuddled. Now I have wondered long and hard about the great sense of humor that our Lord has, and of what it might have been like to go to church with "I am good at this." But all I know for sure is that you just never know. what's going to transpire to save you and to get you home. Sometimes life tosses an angel in the van your way, and at other times it's just a hard, cold rain. Sometimes a curveball is thrown at you that turns life on its head. Now, as a kid, I only feared the fastball. I could handle curves, or at least I thought I could. For the seminal event of my life was the Neisseria meningitis that I met on that beautiful October 4th in 2005. It's a disease that kills almost 100% of those over 50 like me. I've talked about these numbers forever. In a heartbeat, my fever climbed to 106.7, and my kidneys stopped working, and my lungs stopped working, and my blood stopped rushing through my body. Renal, respiratory, and circulatory failure, the only trifecta I've ever won. They thought I'd die that night, and family was summoned, but I surprised them, and I went on surprising them for the next 6 months. I had a miracle with my kidneys, my heart, and with this brain, right now, that here reaches out to you today, that my medical team once said would never again be able to utter a cognitive thought. This is what my wife was told by all my doctors, but that is not what happened. The final price paid for the meningitis was 445 straight days of hospitalization and rehab. 2 feet, 2 legs, 9½ fingers. But head and heart were against all odds intact. I had been extravagantly upheld by the spirits and prayers of so many. I went on to spend a long time at the Kessler Institute for Rehabilitation. Unfazed by the constant torture in the gym there, I cheered those around me on, while always embracing, the struggling newcomers and their great sadness, to let them know that they were not alone. One of them was a young girl of 17, Kelly, who would no longer be able to move from the waist down. Just a terrible dive into the pool in the safety and sanctity of her own backyard, and a horrific broken neck. Oh, how low she was, and how understandably so. Initially, I simply hoped to cheer her up a bit, fortuitously placed together with her for both morning physical therapy and afternoon occupational therapy. I tease her constantly about what a smile from her would do for everyone around her. I was gently, humanely relentless. I joke, cajole, try to share words of wisdom that always seemed to fall short. I never let up on her, though, and over time, the worm finally did turn, and her smiles and laughter indeed came to light up that place. Before she left, long before we met in that gym, and as we put our best into a limited wheelchair-to-wheelchair mobility hug, she softly whispered that she had thanked God every day that I had been there for her. Words that made near death and coma and amputations and beyond the pale suffering and this brave new world worthwhile. I thought, have gone through it all again, just for that moment. Kelly was all I would ever need to know of why me. She, in a few words, christened it all with purpose and grace. I had been there for her, and she, no doubt, for me. Turned out, I was exactly where I had to be, and I never looked back. Spiritually blessed, tempered, humbled, loved, rich in purpose. Neisseria meningitis, suffering, and Kelly were, just like the angel in the van, just like my Maggie and my family, but other instruments of salvation and grace. The lesson: embrace the suffering of your fellows. Always be of service to them. Celebrate the joy to be found in doing so, and give it all to the God who is in the very air you breathe and the dreams you fashion. In the Quran, Allah asks the heaven and the earth, and all in between. Thinkest thou I made them in jest? Allah invites us to embrace the majesty, wonder, and sacredness that surrounds us. And my friend Thomas Merton wrote, there is always the temptation to diddle away our time. But no, 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 no. You must not diddle, but rather live your life to the lees. And Ralph Waldo Emerson, before him, wrote, I dreamed that I floated at will in the great ether, and I saw this world floating also, not far off, but diminished to the size of an apple. Then an angel took it in his hand and brought it to me and said, this must thou eat. Eat it all, Emerson tells us. Open your arms and embrace the all of life. Burrow into it, all of it, whole hog, dance under the stars. Wrap yourselves in the ethereal beauty of the outer galaxies. Look into the eyes and the hearts of those you love and the stranger and your neighbor, and swing high your children. And finally, in her extraordinary book, Pilgrim at Tinker's Creek, my Annie Dillard adds, our life is a faint tracing on the surface of mystery. We must somehow take a wider view, look at the whole landscape, really see it, and describe what's going on there. Then we can at least wail the right question into the swaddling band of darkness, or if it comes to that, choir the proper praise. Indeed, it comes to that, my friends, for praise it is. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria tibi Domine it is. Oh yes, our eyes have not seen, our ears have not heard the wonders that have been stored up for us. So live loud and remember we must carry each other so as to be worthy of the gifts of the galaxies, the earth, the life, the love, each other, the surprises, the mysteries. That's a wrap for now. Take care. Smile on your brothers and sisters out there. I'll be back with you again soon, I pray.